About 3 years ago, Herald Mail TV 6 and Antietam Cable Channel 30 began to run a series known as Through a Veteran's Eye. Art, what is this show all about?
Well, Fred, you should have just introduced yourself, because Fred's been about Through a Veteran's Eye from the very beginning. About 3 years ago, Fred, you and I, and several folks initially at the Herald Mail Media got together and said, we need to put out some information that will be beneficial to veterans. And that with Rachel Harvey Jones,
Yes.
Remember that? Liz Thompson,
Yeah, absolutely.
sitting down at the Herald Mail newspaper office.
In that little tiny office?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
About the size of a newspaper box is what it was.
Absolutely. And we first started filming Through a Veteran's Eye. I did some of the original hosting. Fred then did some of the original hosting, and now it's sort of Fred's baby. And I mean, who you been having on, Fred? I mean, tell us a little bit about what's going on with Through a Veteran's
If I could
Eye.
digress just a little bit, Art, I think this is the appropriate time to give it a little more history, a little more in-depth history of this. Several years ago, I happened to be on a television program down in Bowie, Maryland, called the Veterans Forum. And it was about an hour program, and I came away from there really blown away that Bowie City, Prince George's County, had a program devoted to veterans. What a novel idea. I thought, wow, where's Washington County on this? Why doesn't Washington County have anything about, as the chairman of the Maryland Veterans Commission, I wondered about my county. Why don't we recognize our veterans? So I made a couple of calls downtown to the county, and I never got anywhere. So I happened to meet Art and Ruth Ann, and I started whining about it. Started complaining that we have a neglect of veterans in Washington County, and Art was very attentive and listened to me about, well, what can we do? And I said, well, I think somehow we should have a program in Washington County that concentrates on veterans. Several months went by, and I got a call and an invite to for breakfast to that. I can't remember what the name of that. They've moved now. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it was with Art, and he said, "What are you doing? Do you want to talk about a program for veterans?" Then it started. That's how it all happened, and it was all because of Art's looking into the future and looking out for our veterans.
Yeah.
And so then we started getting serious about doing this and selecting guests, trying to find guests. And so over the years, we've filmed, I don't know how many episodes, many of them. We started off down there at Herald Mail, and then after about 6-8 months, we moved to Antietam Cable. And they've just been tremendous here at Antietam Cable. They've just done a remarkable job, and we've had so many wonderful guests. In a previous segment, we talked about Martinsburg. Mm-hmm. We've had a number of specialists, suicide prevention. In fact, we've had the folks about 3 different times about suicide prevention. We lose 22 veterans a day to suicide. So we've had them on. PTS issues, specialists, TBI, housing, a lot of functions that goes on in Martinsburg
Now
that a lot of people
tell them
don't
what
know.
TBI and PSDS is.
Okay, post-traumatic stress. Well, the D for disorder, but we like to think it's just a post-traumatic stress. And then TBI is a traumatic brain injury. Mm-hmm. And so all these specialists, we're talking about the cream of the crop in their area, and they came here to the studio, and we were able to share information with the veterans on a constant basis. We've had folks from the Star Equestrian, and people have asked me, well, what's that got to do with, horses got to do with veterans? Horses are one of the best, I didn't know this, being from Wyoming even. Exactly, and so we've had them on about 2 or 3 times. American vet dogs that are puppies that are actually trained in the prison out here to be service dogs for our veterans at no charge to our veterans. Tremendous program. We've had folks from the state of Maryland that provide all these different benefits for our veterans. One right here in town, Jim Lichtinger, right down here downtown. Maryland has a lot of great benefits for our veterans. They just need to find out how to do it. That's the crux of the program, is to tell our viewers how to find out what these benefits are.
Yeah, the private sector is involved in doing things for veterans. I know I read in the newspaper today all the things that were giveaways to veterans. Fact of the matter, I may go eat dinner tonight.
Yeah, as a matter of
I know that Western Sizzlin', I have friends that are
Absolutely.
going there. The Golden Corral is another location. As a veteran, you get a free meal today.
Sure, sure.
This is awesome.
And nothing in the world wrong with that.
No.
Yeah, there really isn't, and there's a whole bunch of them. A lot of them in today on November 11th, but the list is growing and growing. I printed out 7 pages of organizations and companies that are doing this. Well, I got the last word on that
Yes,
one.
you
too.
did.
Next up, Ed Lowe is going to explain the origins of Flipside. Very interesting. Please stay tuned.